thought, okay, that was maybe like the shot heard around the world a little bit. But then McKinley starts 0-4. And we're like, ooh, okay, what's going on here? Let's take a look at this. So we look at the schedule. We look at Matter, we look at Fitch, we look at Dublin Kaufman. McKinley, for whatever reason, continues to struggle against Perry. So they're 0-4. They are backed into a corner, and then all of a sudden they rip off 5 games in a row. And here we are. Massillon McKinley this Saturday, 2 o'clock at Paul Brown Tiger Stadium. It's the biggest game in high school football. And you could say, well, McKinley's hasn't played a lot of tough teams the last 5 weeks and blah, blah, blah. Folks, when you're 0-4, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You want to start stringing some wins together, and that's exactly what Antonio Hall did with his team. Now, on the Massillon side of things, they didn't play last weekend. It was just a JV game against a team from Canada. But and if we're lucky enough, to catch up with Nate Moore, and I think that we will at some point here this afternoon, I'm interested to see what he did with the varsity last week. Do you treat that as a true bye week, even though your program was playing, but the varsity kids were not? Do you give them a day or two of rest? I mean, I don't even know if the varsity kids, did they dress Friday night and come out and go through the routine? I'm anxious to hear how that was handled. But here we are. Massillon, perfect on the season. I almost said 9-0. Technically, they're 8-0. And McKinley comes in with a record of 5-4. Lots at stake. Obviously, computer points are always big here. Massillon being in 2, McKinley being in 1. Both teams comfortably in the playoff picture. Just a matter of who you're going to play your opening round, and I believe both are comfortably going to be able to host their first round game as well. So there's a lot on the line here. McKinley has not fared well against the Tigers the last several years. They just haven't. Whether if it's been home or it's been at Paul Brown Tiger Stadium, McKinley has just not fared well. And you look at the situation, their running game that has been coming along with Nino Hill, Trayton Mackey, Keaton Rohde is starting to do a little bit more better as far as running the ball a little bit better, throwing the ball a little bit better. You got guys like Sincere McNeil. You got guys that can catch the ball. But McKinley primarily has turned into a run-dominant team. And if you talk to the old school McKinley fans, they say, that's what we are. That's who we are. That's what we do. And I kind of got away from that. So a couple of coaches came through and started to go 5 wide, spread, empty set, and huddle, no huddle, this, that, and the other. But when you get down to brass tacks and you look at it, McKinley has always been I formation, tight end, a couple of wide receivers, and a QB that could do well. Primarily a drop back passer, could run if they had to, makes the smart decisions, is the true quarterback on the field, so to speak, and that's how and why they were successful. Now, it didn't hurt. It didn't hurt to have Mike Doss and Kenny Peterson and Andre Hooks and DeMarlo Rozier and Kenny Peterson and Josh and Ben McGee. It didn't hurt to have those guys, okay? But you still got to put it together. How many times have we seen over the years in the state of Ohio very talented football teams, and for whatever reason, it just doesn't come together? Okay, it came together then for McKinley, so it can happen. Now you got to have those classes come through, and those sometimes are once in a lifetime. And maybe that'll never happen again. Who knows? But they're starting to pound the rock a little bit, and I'll be anxious to see if Massillon is able to stuff that run game, so to speak, on Saturday afternoon, 2 o'clock. A lot of different ways, you can consume the big game here coming up on Saturday. And you can do it with your eyes, you can do it with your ears, you can do it with both. And we've got a great event coming up down at the Centennial Plaza, downtown Canton, beginning this Saturday. And it starts at 10 a.m. And there's going to be fun for everybody. And there's going to be entertainment. You got the Stark Media crew is going to be there. You'll be able to get your hands on some food and beverages. Of course, they'll have the game live on a giant Centennial screen downtown with live audio. And if you can't make it over to Tiger Town, come on down to the Centennial Plaza, downtown Canton, this Saturday. The activities begin at 10, and the kickoff is at 2 o'clock. And we'll get into all the details and all the cool things going on there. You can also catch the game live on Rock 106.9, WRQK. It's streaming live on the iHeartRadio app as well from Paul Brown Tiger Stadium. But at the end of the day, as much as we want you to come on down to the plaza, we want you to listen on Rock 106.9. It's going to be 70 degrees and sunny. If you can, love to see you at the stadium on Saturday for the Bulldogs and the Tigers. So we got that going on. And again, Coach Moore, Coach Hall will be joining us today. They'll also be up on the podium for today's Pro Football Hall of Fame Luncheon Club. Mayor Kathy Catazero Perry from Massillon will be here. Mayor Tom Burnaby from Canton will be here. And it should be a lively crew. It always is here on the Pro Football Hall of Fame Luncheon Club for the Bulldogs and the Tigers. Also, Week 10, you've got great rivalries like Jackson Hoover. You've got Central Catholic St. Thomas Aquinas. You've got Tuslaw Fairless. You've got Dover New Philly. You've got Alliance Marlington. You've got Salem West Branch. You got some great games coming up, and we'll be there for all of them here between the Stark Media and iHeart. We will keep you covered as well. Thursday night, Canton Central Catholic St. Thomas. Friday night on the radio side, we've got Green Lake. We've got Jackson Hoover. We've got Tuslaw and Fairless on our Stark Media YouTube channel. And, of course, the Bulldogs and the Tigers on Saturday. But the big party at Centennial Plaza beginning at 10 and the kickoff coming up here at 2 o'clock. Again, we are about 35, 40 minutes away. Some of the crew had just arrived about 10 minutes ago with the back, getting some pictures taken and kind of reacquainting themselves a little bit with how the deal is here on this particular day. But
play nice.
Yep, play nice. Some friendly handshakes, some wry smiles. You know how that goes. So we're getting ready here at Tozzis on 12th. But man, over the weekend, things kind of went the way we thought they would. All the games. I mean, we had some close ones. We had some blowouts. But I don't think there was anything really too crazy, maybe except for South going down to Orville. I thought that was a little bit
What's
of
going on with Orville, man? They get some extra eligibility from some guys.
A renaissance here the last two games for them.
Marquette Park's got a couple extra reps left in them. Jeez, I mean, when they took down, what was it, CBCA, and then they take down Canton South. I'm like, what's going on here?
That's two quality wins right there.
For sure. Yeah, and they struggled early in the year.
Yeah, so, but Central Jackson was a good game, 21-14. Central dominated the first half, and I think Jay Rohr went inside the locker room and peeled some paint, I'm pretty sure.
Dominated the time of possession from what I heard, right? I mean, was there a couple, like a 7-8 minute drive by the Crusaders?
Yeah, and one of their drives, they had started at their own 1, and they got down to the Jackson 9 before they turned it over.
Wow.
And they ate up a lot of time. And Jackson comes out and goes up 21-7. Central scores with about a minute and a half to go. Onside kick was like one of those. You didn't know who had the ball. And then the official comes out and points Jackson, and they run out the clock. But that was a pretty good game. Central St. Thomas on Thursday. Game is still on. As of now, still on. And, hey, St. Tom, look, I know they lost 40-18 to Mogador. Mogador ain't no chopped salad. That's a heck of a program. They're going to make a deep run of the playoffs. Coach Adorni does a fantastic job there, about the tradition of Mogador. And St. Tom was able to get 18 points on the board. I mean, I don't know when those came, but the fact that they didn't roll over and they stayed in the game and they fought and they put 3 scores on the board, I mean, that's got to say something, doesn't it?
Hey, Mighty Mo didn't score this past weekend, but St. Thomas did.
How about that? I still can't believe it.
I want to ask you this, though, because, you and I have both had a chance to cover Massillon extensively throughout this season. If Moeller and Massillon lined up now compared to the game that you called the opener in week 1, which I believe was a 49-31 loss for Massillon, since then, beating Fitch, beating Eds the week before that, you had a chance to call that game. Do you think it's a different outcome? Is it a different story? Is the whole the complexity of the game changed?
I know this. I know it's going to go down to the fourth quarter. It's not going to be what it was. And if people look at that score, and I was kind of guilty of it too. You look back week 1, 49-31. You think, oh, blowout, 18-point game. I'm here to tell you, it wasn't that way. I know Mo jumped on the Tigers early. I mean, it was 14-0 before you could blink your eye. But Massillon stayed in that game and fought in that game. Remember, Jalen was, sophomore. He's still a sophomore now, but he's grown up.
Yeah.
It was opening night. Sometimes those first games you like to have one of those like feel out games where you can get by with maybe your C game a little bit and get one in the column and then get ready to go. But they challenged. They went for the big boy. Moeller came into town, and I thought they really acquitted themselves really well in that second half. If they played right now, I don't like making guarantees, but I'm going to guarantee that game goes to the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
I mean, deep in the fourth quarter. And Moeller not scoring on Eds, that's a flag. That's a red flag there for me. And Moeller only scored 25 the week before in a 25-10 win against Cleveland St. Ignatius. So I'm not saying that they may be getting a little burnt out. They're a little bit tired because, they were pummeling people at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
But I think Massillon Moeller now would be fantastic. I think Massillon Eds again would be a fantastic game. Now, obviously, we won't see that because both schools are in Division I, but I think Massillon can draw from both those games as they get deeper as we go here. They've learned a lot. They've gotten better. The only thing I see with Massillon is some of the mental mistakes. And sometimes those catch up with you and hurt you, and sometimes they don't. You can overcome. But that's the only thing I see right now. As far as I know, they're healthy.
Freddie Lennox should be on his way back.
Yeah. The only thing I see is, the ill-timed, unsportsmanlike conducts or the jumping into the neutral zone deals. Other than that, I don't see a lot of warts there. I don't.
We'll blame that on JP Simon. Come on, Coach
fault.
Simon. Coach him up, man. Do your job. You got one job to do. You talk about a growing up moment, and I think you saw that firsthand against St. Ed's. Jalen Slaughter may have come out there in week 1 and, like that feeling out process, so to say, and also carries over the offensive line. That offensive line in week 1 was not the same offensive line that bludgeoned Fitch for over 400-plus rush yards on the ground. And the week before that, you got a chance to see Jalen throw that pass to Braylon Tolles for the game winner. Let's call it what it is. That's nut cutting time right there.
It was.
He made a throw in a tough point of the game there right at the end after getting the ball back and said, you know what? I got the confidence to let this thing rip, and he did, and he pulls it off. And that right there kind of shows you that's a big difference between week 1 and week 5 or week 6, wherever it was. And the offensive line's gotten better. Jalen's gotten better. To me, I think if you look at just any glaring weaknesses, I would think if a team starts chucking the ball around on the yard, can you cover down? I know that they can stop the run with Dorian Pringle and that defensive line of Marcus Moore and those guys, Chase Bond up there. They can stop the run. If somebody comes out there, a quarterback who can really chuck it around, and that's why I've kind of told people, I think if they get to that Hoban matchup, I think it plays well into Massillon's hand this year because if you can shut down Lamar Sperling,
if you can
slow him down, which I think the Tigers defensively, they're built to slow the run. Is somebody going to be able to beat you with their arm? And I don't know if Hoban can do that this year as they were able to maybe do in years past.
No, not when they had, who was it, Shane Ham?
Yep.
I think he was a 4-year starter for Hoban. You're right. That's a great point. I'm not saying that Hoban's one-dimensional by any means.
No.
But if I do have to ride with a one-dimensional guy, I'll ride with Lamar Sperling. But, yeah, you're right. If you can turn them into a quote-unquote one-dimensional team, that may give you the edge. Now, I don't know. You dance with who you brought to the dance. I don't think Antonio Hall's going to come out throwing the ball Saturday. But look what you've done the last 4 weeks with Hill and Mackey, and I
think he's got the ability though. I've seen Keaton chuck the ball a little bit.
He does.
Sometimes it's a little deep. Sometimes it's a little inaccurate. But he's got an arm on him. He's got a live arm, and his feet. Yeah, you're right. It's going to come down to Mackey, Hill, Keaton, Rohde. And that, again, I think plays a little bit into the Tigers' hands because JP Simon, Dan Hackenbrack, those guys know that, and they're going to be tailor-made on Saturday afternoon at 2
I think
o'clock
you're going to see 10
shut
guys in the
Nino
box.
Hill down. Stuff the box,
You do.
shut him down. Can you beat us with your arm?
And that makes sense. I mean, what else? Why else would you not do that?
Right.
You know what I mean?
And see if and then see if Sincere McNeil, is he going to make plays? Trayshawn Foster, can he make plays? There's athletes on that team.
There are.
If
they get behind you,
it gets to
toodaloo.
a point where a coach has just got to say, you know what, pulling the collar off, it's time to rock and roll, man. Take the bulldog off the chain and let him chuck it around the yard and see what happens. I mean, I think Keaton Rody's got the ability. I was really impressed with him after that Jackson game. Now, again, that was the 2 defensive scores by Dante McClellan. That was the difference. That's a 26-23 ball game at that point if you take those 2 away.
Yeah. That's why I think that what do they say? Throw everything out for this game. I mean, who knows? If you're in the McKinley bunker right now, you're Coach Hall and you got your assistants, you're looking at film and you're breaking things down and you're putting a plan together. I mean, obviously it starts with number 12. But then what? What's your counter? Or, how the coaches come up with, most of it's 10-play scripts. Some guys go 12. Some guys go 15. What's that opening script going to look like? What's the first 10 plays going to look like for McKinley? What's the first 10 going to look like for Massillon? Massillon, here as of late, has had the running game. They've had the passing game. So you really can't just say, okay, we're going to stop A. We're going to, like Belichick, he stops your A like he did yesterday.
Yeah.
And then you're cooked. When you prepare for Massillon, it's hard. It's hard to sell out on one side of the ball or another, throwing, passing. Coach Moore is going to have at least 2 or 3 in the pocket razzle-dazzles that we haven't seen all year. You may see him after a timeout. You may see him on a 2-point convert. I mean, you never know. That's where it's difficult. The more that it's like preparing for a test as a student. The more the teacher throws at you for the week, the harder it is to study. If they keep it simple, you can lock in on 2 or 3 things. You're probably going to get a good grade. Well, you don't know what the hell's coming. You're in trouble. And that I look at it that way as getting ready for football too, man. The game day is your final exam. The build-up is the studying, the preparation, the game planning, the repetition, the walkthroughs. And oh, by the way, this is the most emotional weekend of the year.
Yeah.
So you got that with 16, 17, 18-year-old kids. So, yeah, that's another little thing to throw into the fire.
On top of it that the freshman game just got canceled on Thursday. So, the Bulldogs have opted to shut down the rest of the season. You're going to have no freshman game leading in to that War of 1894 on Saturday afternoon. And, when you talk about scripting, preparing, to me, without a doubt, as you mentioned, Nino Hill is going to be the emphasis from the defensive side of the ball for the Massillon Tigers. Shut him down, see who else can beat us. When I look at the rest of that McKinley offense from guys that I've seen this year and years in the past, you have to get the ball into the hands of Sincere McNeil. Throw a couple short ones to him, quick ones on the smoke screens or the bubble screens. He took one of those against Jackson, some 70 yards to the house. And as soon as those DBs start playing up a little bit tighter for the Massillon Tigers, unleash the home run shot. Let Keaton Roady pull the trigger and shoot it 40, 50, 60 yards downfield. See how far he can throw it. Let those receivers get underneath it. The other guy, the X factor I mentioned, another sophomore, just like Nino Hill, Dante McClellan. Dante McClellan is a player. Defensively and offensively, find a way to get the ball into his hands. And as you mentioned, Coach Nate Moore might have a couple tricks here or there. Coach Antonio Hall, he's been around the block many times. Professional football, all SEC at Kentucky. He knows what he's doing, and he's got to have the ability to say, okay, guys, you know what? Dante, big timely reverse coming up for you here. Sincere, we're running the screenplay to you. Need you to make a play. And I think that's where it will help Nino Hill by pulling guys out of the box. You're only going to be able to go one-on-one with Sincere McNeil and Dante McClellan so many times before one of them is going to get at you. So that's the matchup, man. That's the chess game of football. That's why we love it so much.
Yeah. Do you dare, like if you're Antonio Hall, do you dare come out and go empty set? I mean, do you dare do that? Do you at least show it? And then, it's the heat of the moment. Everybody's going crazy. I mean, do you at some point, does somebody from Massillon say, timeout? Okay, you got him to burn a timeout. Now you go back to what you were going to do. I mean, I'm not
I
saying that
form, two tights.
Yeah,
You know.
I'm not saying that I wouldn't give that a shot. I mean, give them something they haven't seen. And what if Maslin would come out and I don't know. I'm getting goofy now, but say Nate Morris says, let's go off the script here for the first couple plays. Let's come out in the wishbone. You know what I mean? I mean something goofy like that would just. I mean the place would go insane.
Well, you know, I mean, in a game, a rivalry of this caliber, you're not used to seeing a team that potentially be a double-digit underdog, even just being on the road. But there's not a whole lot of people out there that are giving McKinley a chance to be able to win this game. I mean, most people out there right now, if you ask them, if you poll people, would say, "Okay, I like Maslin by 20. I like Maslin 15 to 20 points. They win by." That's where most people are sitting at right now. This is not just me. You know, I think I lean my cap towards Maslin just on paper. I think rivalry games, you toss that out. I mean, I kind of opened up the thing before you got here talking about, you know, this is the equivalent of Ohio State, Michigan at the collegiate level.
Yep.
And I remember my first start against Michigan in the horseshoe, we were double-digit underdogs. It's like, whoa, slap in the face, but we weren't very good at the time. We were rebuilding, and we were able to beat them, I think, 37 to 21. So it's like, you just don't know what you're going to get in this game.
You don't know. They're
Something
great unknown.
in players comes out in week 10 in a rivalry like this. And it's like, oh, wow, I didn't know he had that in him.
Nope. And it's always somebody you have not talked about all week.
Yep.
It's like, where did this come from? And it's not that these coaches are stashing these kids. All right, you're not going to do anything for 9 weeks, but we're going to bring out. It's not that. It's something happens. Something, the light bulb goes off. Maybe when the kid gets out of bed in the morning that day, instead magically something happens. That's the beauty of this game.
I'll tell you, the guy that sticks out to me recently that did that. We didn't see Nick Liebler carry the ball almost the entire season.
Great point.
And then he gets into the Maslin McKinley game and just goes off. He's hurdling guys in the middle of the defense. I think ran for over $120 or $130 on the ground. And was the difference in the game, you know? So you're right. I mean, typically it's a guy you haven't heard from, comes out of left field, boom. It's like, wow, great time to make your entrance.
Right?
We'll take it.
That's right. I mean, that's what makes this game so special. And there's some, and we, thank goodness we start today, you know, but we got Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday morning to kind of break it down and get into it, bring you all the different. That's one of the great things about Stark Media is we're going to be able to bring you things and show you things and tell you things that you're probably not going to get anywhere else. And we're going to be able to take more of a little deep dive into it. And I think that's also going to, you know, we'll kind of peel the layers back here a little bit, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Here comes the crew. Coach Moore, wife Becca.
Uh-oh. Wives need more appreciation for all you guys have to go through.
That's
and
right.
what you went through on the sideline there, you had the Avon guys coming at you. I'm like, she's about to get taken out on the sideline. What's up, buddy?
What's up?
You did.
So Coach and Mrs. Coach have made it up to the podium.
I'm kind of looking through here. I tell you what, the amount of events going on this week.
Oh, there's more than there ever was, I think.
It's a lot. That's the thing that these coaches have to deal with is, you know, you want to just prep for a football game, but you're now prepping for parades, breakfast, team dinners afterwards. I know there'll be a trip to the Eagles. There'll be a trip here. There'll be a trip there. You've got the Rotary Club that'll be going on.
Yep. Got other lunches, dinners,
so much to do.
Parades,
you know?
bonfires. Both bands really getting after it this week. You're marching up and down to both downtown areas and going to different schools and playing for there and different things like that. It's an event. There's no doubt about it. This is an event, and we're very lucky, very fortunate to be able to be a huge part of this. And again, as I mentioned, we're going to be able to bring it to you like a lot of folks can't. And whether it's our Stark Media YouTube channel, our Instagram, our live, our Facebook. Of course, we got you covered with the game TV wise and radio wise, internet wise on Saturday. That's going to be
a
fun.
busy day.
Going to be a busy day.
That'd be fun hearing those guys down there at Centennial Plaza, kind of getting everybody ready. I don't know. I guess maybe I didn't word things correctly on some of my posts there that I called a little flack, and even Coach Moore was the first one to step up and say, "Hey, just watch the game from the stadium." And then some lady responds back and says, this is what's going to hurt the game for the kids. I'm thinking, okay, I'm doing the math here. Paul Brown, we want to sell out, but you're not going to put more than 20,000 people in there. So
it only holds 16 and a half.
There you go. So it's like
there's a
lot of other people that aren't going to be able to get to the game. That's what we want. We want you to be able to come down, have a nice, safe atmosphere. You've got the food, the beverages, like you mentioned there with our friends over at Jersey's Cafe. We're going to have Drew Sarackman, Jeff Tyler, Jim Ballard, Mark Milano up on the stage, kind of breaking things down. We'll release one special guest that we're going to have for you now, Coach A.J. Sarbaugh from the Fairless Falcons. He's going to come down, bring a couple players with him. We're going to do a whole preview of the playoffs. But cool little deal to be able to get AJ up there. He's a fan and a friend of Stark Media. And unbelievable that I didn't know this. Only the second time in school history that they've had 3 consecutive winning seasons. Mm-hmm. Now, the first time they did it in 78, 79, and 80, all were done each year with a different head coach.
Yeah.
Did not know that.
First of all, how does that happen?
Yeah.
Or why does it happen? And then how do you make it work to where 3 years in a row, different teacher, and you're getting 3 winning seasons?
You had to have had some studs on the team.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
That's incredible. And hats off to, you show, unless you're one of the big powerhouse schools, and I think you know which ones I'm talking about at the Division I level, where you got 10 tight ends and 8 quarterbacks to choose from and things like that. It wasn't like that at Fairless.
No.
They're probably, I don't know how many. I know the school was probably a little bigger than maybe enrollment-wise. I'm not sure. But depth-wise, and you still were able to, create 3 years in a row, winning season with 3 different coaches. That's insane to me. But that speaks a lot. That speaks a lot of who was in charge and what they were doing.
So we'll have some other coaches, players that are going to come down and join those guys, and they're going to lead you all the way up until kickoff, and then we'll plug in that live broadcast from our friends over there at Washington High School. I'm going to handle the sideline duties, so I'm going to do my best Aaron Andrews impression. See if I can get them all razzled up now.
What are you going to wear Saturday, my friend? What's the? Come on now, TV. It's going to be 70 degrees. What are you going to wear? You can anything is up now. You can. What are you going to do? We're going to GQ it. We're going to go tie,
suited and booted.
Suit and tie. We're going to go to the pocket silk, nice shiny $15,000 watch. What are we wearing?
You know what? I'm going to lean on JP Simon to kind of get me outfitted out over there like he did last year with the long white coat with the fur. And
God, maybe if you wear that,
maybe some Chuck Taylors, and told him maybe we'll throw a little West Coast action out there. Do the khaki Dickie suit with the black tank top underneath.
If you wear that long coat, I'm coming out of the press box and I'm going to tackle you on the field. And I'm going to take you down to the mat, and I'm going to give you the 3 count right in front of everybody.
Couple big dog chains wrapped around. Here we go.
Oh my God, that's fun.
70 degrees though. That's cool. That's nice.
They're calling between 68 and 70 and partly cloudy, which for McKinley-Massillon Day, that's nothing better.
Yeah.
Now again, we're going to have to fight through a couple of bad days. Looks like Wednesday, Thursday, some wet snow and really Arctic cold. But by the time we rock and roll, looks like Thursday night could be a little dicey. But Friday and Saturday are going to be great. It's going to be great.
Last one of the year. Could be.
It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. So we invite you to check us out. Obviously, we just put out some stuff on the social media, on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Make sure that you are with us here, not only today and all this week, but throughout the rest of your sporting life. We're going to be there for you here. At Stark Media Team is the key word on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and the Stark Media YouTube channel. Thanks to all our sponsors. Our list seems to be growing and growing and growing, which is good. Every week, the folks getting behind what we're doing at Stark Media and kind of backing us and helping us get the word out to you, and enables us to do different things and special things, and that's what we're here for. So we're certainly looking forward to that. We'll be going up to the podium here in about 15 minutes or so. Again, the live broadcast, live telecast of the McKinley-Massillon Pro Football Hall of Fame Luncheon Club Day here at Tozzis on 12. Sam Bourquin here, TJ Downing there. Our big table to the right is filling up, and we'll be going to the podium here in just a little bit. So lots of stuff going on. Week 9 is officially now in the books. We can look ahead to the rivalry games. Of course, so we got some great matchups coming Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And
what's going to happen tonight?
Playoffs. Oh, man. You know what? I got to tell you, I was not.
Rocking the baby?
Oh, that's.
You got to love the energy.
I know. I love the energy, but.
Not while you're trailing.
If you got a 3-1 lead in the series or something, I'm okay with that, but I don't know. Anyhow, I got to tell you, I was not that. I didn't think they were going to win last night anyway. Garrett Cole. It was money time, meal time for the Yankees. I just didn't think Cleveland was going to be up for it. I'm not saying they weren't trying, because Tito always he's always going to have his kids ready to play. When I say kids, they're kids. They average 26 years of age, and they're throwing guys out there that some may not have heard of in that game last night. But he's not afraid to use these kids out there. But I'll tell you why I do feel like we've got a shot tonight. Our bullpen is ready to rock and roll because we didn't use Class A, we didn't use Karinchak, we didn't use Stefan, we didn't use De Los Santos, we didn't use any of those guys last night. So here's what I think we might be able to do. They're going to start Savali. ERA is over 5. Okay, that could be a little goofy. But if you can give me 4, even 5 innings from Aaron Savali, then I'm going to turn this into a bullpen extravaganza. Folks, get ready for a 4-hour game tonight. I'm telling you right now.
Let's go.
Maybe take a little nap today, get something, get some Mountain Dew, a little Red Bull, whatever you need to do. It's going to be a long game tonight. But I like our bullpen against theirs. The only thing that scares me is that stadium. 314 feet to left, 319 to right. These guys are so strong. The little fly balls are going over the fence.
Yep.
That's the only thing that scares me.
There's a few things that could scare you about tonight. I mean, obviously, just being on the road, Game 5, it's tough. You know, that's the pressure-packed situation that you're in. You know, it was interesting to see that just the numbers, we talked about it going in, that the payroll that the Yankees have compared to us. I think the payroll that went through the batting order for the Guardians yesterday was like equal to what Garrett Cole is getting paid this year. It was like $26 million.
Yep.
That's unbelievable.
Yep.
To think the one guy that's pitching against you is the equivalent of 9 guys that are going to come up to the plate here tonight.
Yep. And you know what the folks at New York will say? He's worth every damn penny.
Yeah.
They're probably right.
And I think you mentioned it too. The key to tonight's game, you know, is going to be that bullpen and Class A and Karinchak. Those guys are going to need to be worth every penny as well. You're going to need pitching to get you through this thing. You know, the guys that you're going to be facing that are coming up to the plate. I don't know if Savali's got enough to be able to get it all done himself. We've seen Savali do some really great things. We've seen some times where it shows you that 5 ERA.
You've seen good Aaron. We've seen bad Aaron.
At the end of the day, the bat's got to come out on fire. You cannot go second inning, they get up 3-0, and then wait until the 6th or the 7th to start getting your bats on fire. They have to come out from round 1 all the way through.
Well, and I'm not going to do this, but if we look at that New York lineup, Cleveland lineup, it's no contest.
Yeah.
It's no contest. But what's the old adage? Good pitching always beats good hitting. So we'll see. 7:07 tonight in New York. And
here we go. Pulling.
Oh, my gosh. And then you talk about a quick turnaround. Is it Tuesday night or is it Wednesday? You go to Houston.
That'll be fun.
I mean, I would hate to think No, it's got to be Wednesday. There's no way even the stupidity of Major League Baseball would not have a deciding Game 5 in whatever city it was on a Monday, and then start the AL Championship Series
Can't
on a
do it.
Tuesday. There's no way in the world. So I'm guessing it's going to be Wednesday. So you would go to Houston for 2 travel day. So the Indians would be home if they make it tonight. They'd be home over the weekend, which is kind of cool. And boy, that just adds another layer to everything that's going on. I mean, my gosh, you'd have Cleveland baseball this weekend. You got Ohio State, Iowa, which is going to be a great game at the Shoe Saturday. You got McKinley-Massillon Saturday. My God, the Cavs open up this weekend, I think. The Browns will play Baltimore on Sunday. So there's a lot going on here. There's a lot going on. Almost too much. That's almost too much because they're all big, huge events. It's almost too much. I'd like to spread these out here a little bit.
I'll tell you what,
we're going to dig in and we're going to go.
Ohio's in it right now, man. Let's go. Let's get this thing done tonight. That's going to kind of set the tone.
That's going to set the tone. That's right. What do they talk? They talk about setting the tone. You are absolutely right. Let's get this one tonight. And boy, who would have thought if Cleveland wins tonight? You look at the baseball: Yankees, Mets, Dodgers, gone. Who would have thought that? You talk about payrolls. That's like $750 million of payroll right there, out. And what I love is the big markets would be out.
Yeah, Frankie Lindor, he's going to be sitting down on the beach watching the Guardians play.
That's right. Doing some more commercials for the iPhone or whatever he's doing. So yeah, I think that would be. I mean, how about the Padres, man? How about the scene in San Diego the last couple of nights? Those people were ready for blood. I mean, they haven't seen that in decades, and they were. I would have loved to have been at Petco Park for games 3 and 4 against the Dodgers. I mean, that was just. I've never seen a fan base in California so rabid and just off the chain as they were at Petco Park. That was great theater. Great theater right there. And again, you got the Fighting Phils are in, Bryce Harper and company. There's the guy who's getting the boatload, but
the hair is in.
So they're ready to roll. And of course, you got Cleveland, New York tonight, and the Astros are waiting because they took the Mariners out in 3 in their ALDS. So there's a lot of great stuff going on, and this is fun. Get a kind of changing of the season here, and I think this is one of the few times here you got all 4 major sports are going at one time.
Yeah,
baseball, football, basketball, hockey. And there's just a lot. College football, high school football. We'll be getting our playoff pairings will be coming up. We'll know by probably late Sunday afternoon. Pretty much who's going to be playing where, and we'll figure out what we're going to stake out, and
we'll have it for you,
do
man,
our games
on Twitter, social media, Facebook, Instagram. We'll have those brackets out for you, all your local teams, and be able to give you a little guide to be able to know where to go. But yeah, it's interesting, man. It's always fun to have it wrap around the seasons, have it wrap around Halloween and Thanksgiving coming up, and then on the back end you got Christmas rolling in here. So a lot of great things as we get ready to transition into winter sports. The back end of fall sports is fun.
It is. And I'll tell you what, it's a lively group here today. We are at broadcasting live at Tozzis on 12th right here on the Stark Media YouTube channel. Sammy B, TJ to my left. And a lot of red and black, a lot of orange and black here today. The head table is just about full. I do always think it's so funny how the McKinley coach is at the far right and the Massillon coach is on the far left. I always thought that was kind of fun.
Well, what did we say last night when I texted you? I said, do we dare try and get both fellas on at the same time? You see how close those headsets are to each other. Last thing I want to have to do is get in the middle of 2 former linemen getting down into their stances. I mean, I'll do it.
So the question
That'd
is,
be great TV, right?
The question is, do we dare?
Yeah, we dare.
Or do we have?
We always dare.
Maybe we have the mayor step in and say, guys, can you do it? Can you do it for Stark Media?
Yeah.
Can you do it for those guys? They're great. We love those guys.
I know Mayor Kathy would. I'll tell you what, the better theater may be Kathy
the mayor's
and Tom.
today. Yeah. That's like I said, there's always.
Can we get any exclusives here as far as what's going to happen? You going to play any jokes today?
Well, I'm going to rile up the
Okay. She's going to fire everybody
Yes.
up. I knew it.
Hey, do the Josh Naylor. Here, rock the baby. Rock
Oh, God,
Burnaby.
don't do that.
I should give you guys a picture of Tom in his jersey last year. They just said, you should bring a big picture. I said, I'll remember that for
You
next
should do that.
Yes.
You should do that. All right. Yeah. So here we go.
They have fun, and that's the good part about this is you talk about the word rabid. You have two rabid fan bases that at times do not like each other, but for the mayors to get along and kind of play into it, that's pretty fun. So
yeah. So we got that.
I'm excited.
Yeah. This is this will be fun.
I'm gonna get you a water, partner.
Oh, okay.
Because I know it's about that time.
It's the big fella knows. He always knows. He's gonna head up and get a little water over here so we can get rolling. All right, we're gonna be right now. You can see me. I'm doing it live on YouTube here. Check out all of our social media platforms for all the great things we've got coming up for you. Stark Media YouTube channel, which you're on right now. And, of course, Instagram at Stark Media Team, Stark Media Facebook page. We got 3 of those. And, of course, Twitter at Stark Media Team. Make sure you follow and share and get involved with all those great things that are going on right there. So we will be going up to the podium here in just a couple of minutes, actually. We'll have the welcome. And we will have the announcements. And we'll get the program underway. This is always fun. I remember for you old schoolers, and I'm a little bit of an old schooler. The McKinley-Massillon game, remember, always used to be the first Saturday in November, and it was always a little bit colder. Remember, we'd always move the clocks up, so by the time you walked out of then Fawcett Stadium or Paul Brown Tiger Stadium at say around 4:45 or 5 o'clock, the sun was already kind of starting to set. And you're like, my God, it's over already. And there was always a little bit of sadness because the buildup for this game is so huge. And there's always a little bit of sadness like, oh, it's over again. Now we got to wait 364 more days for this. But now that because of some different things, the OHSCA and switching around, how many teams make the tournament, the season start earlier. So now this game, instead of being on the first Saturday in November, it's it's not even the last Saturday of October this year. It's the third Saturday of October. So we got that. But the one good thing about that is, though, the weather is going to be beautiful. They're talking 68, 70, partly cloudy for the War of 1894 between the Tigers and the Bulldogs coming up here on Saturday. So that should be a lot of fun. Also, I want to let you know, Thursday night live here on the Stark Media YouTube channel. Myself and TJ Downing will be bringing you live Central Catholic and St. Thomas Aquinas, live audio, live video. That's this Thursday night beginning at 7 right here on the Stark Media YouTube channel. Crusaders Knights are going to battle it out for the Lance. So that's coming up Thursday night. Friday on Rock 106.9, you can join myself and Jeff Shreve. We'll be at Lake as the Blue Streaks take on the Green Bulldogs. Lake wins that. They will have a share of the 2022 Federal League Championship. So that'll be kind of cool to be a part of that, if indeed that's how it plays out. On 99.7 FM, the great rivalry game between Hoover and Jackson. TJ, Jimmy, and Mark will have that for you. And then we'll have the battle for the Blue Cup between Tuslaw and Fairless on the Stark Media YouTube channel live on Friday night. Audio, we will have that for you with... I'm trying to think, is that game I think that game's a Tuslaw. I'm pretty sure that game's a Tuslaw. But Jeff and Drew will have that one for you right here on the Stark Media YouTube channel. So we got lots of stuff going on, and we're excited. Again, we'll be heading up to the podium here in just a few minutes for the beginning of today's program here at Tozzis on 12th, the McKinley-Massillon edition of the Pro Football Hall of Fame Luncheon. Ready to roll? We're going to stop right here, get our cameras set up. Don't forget, Stark Media YouTube channel right now. To the podium we go here at Tozzis on 12th. We'll catch you back here on the other side.